So birthday night is a night when we invite somebody to come and share their experience, strength, and hope, with hopes that it gives somebody a bit of an encouragement to keep moving forward in their recovery, to keep trying just that little bit harder to stay clean and sober for one more hour, one more evening, one more day, through one more struggle. And the fellow that is coming to speak to you tonight, I can tell you I started working with him a number of years ago as a client, as a member of drug court, and I'm really proud to say that that relationship's turned into a friendship, and he is one awesome guy that has one awesome story, and I am so incredibly proud of the work that you've done and the distance that you've come in this program, Paul. I'd like to bring you forward and have you share your experience, strength, and hope. Watch the back on that.
All right.
Okay, and sit, make sure that we can hear you through here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paul. I'm an addict. I was wondering where he's been for a few months. My story, I guess I'll start off I was born and raised partially in London, Ontario, to a family that I later found that I was adopted into. But at the beginning of my childhood, this is just the start of my life, was from stories from my family, was that my original adopted family was, my father was very abusive to my mother. So without even realizing it, I was a product of that. My mother ran from my father when she feared for her life by my father putting a shotgun to my head as an infant. I don't know if I really remember anything of that, but I can say today that some of my traits probably stem from some of that. While I was growing up, I seemed to be a fairly good kid. We moved around a lot. When my mother ran from my father, we moved quite often, I remember, as a child. So going to school, I didn't really get to set roots with anybody or any place in particular. So I was always a new kid, and I was always having to meet new friends and socialize. And after a while, it started to become awkward for me because I was always a new kid. And in elementary school, that being the new kid, there was always the kids that were there for a while that wanted to see who you were and sometimes pick on you. And I got picked on a lot. And as I grew older, I think that had a big effect on me being kind of introverted and standing away from everybody and thinking I was different. I think I was about 12 when my mother's boyfriend at the time was very abusive to me. He was a drunk. And so throughout my childhood, there was guys that come in on my mom's life that were unsavory, I guess. But I was the brunt of that stuff. I would always be abused because of that. Sexually abused as well, which created a lot of psychological problems for me that I still deal with today. Trust issues and wanting to be close to people. I still have problems with that. Where was I? When I was about 12, that's when I found out I was adopted, and that's where things really changed for me. It went from being a scared, quiet child to a very aggressive, dominant kid that wouldn't take anything from anybody, getting kicked out of schools, being told that I was trouble. Never understood really. I was always the kid that they wanted to get rid of, which created more anger And so that happening in my life, I started to become a product of institutions. From a very young age, I've spent the majority of my life and my adult life in jail. I've learned to behave by the etiquettes of jail mentality, which don't suit purposes by living a normal social life outside of that. I started to drink. That was my first go-to because I felt very confident with it. I was outspoken. I wasn't withdrawn. If I had a problem, I'd speak about it. If I was actually really aggressive, is what it boils down to, and that was out of fear. But it was my form of protection. So before anybody ever got close to me, I'd lash out, and all the way up until like who sits in front of you today. That's still a factor in my life. And it's really hard for me to change it. I see somebody. But anyways, let's backtrack a little bit. I've been involved with, as most of us, all sorts of different people, places, things, using drugs, selling drugs, committing crimes. To me, that was all normal. Everybody around me, that's what they did. That's how we got by. That's how we made money. And it didn't bother me. There was no feeling towards it. If you had something I wanted, I'd take it. I found, the strangest thing. I'm just going to go jump on up to where my life has changed because I think it's the better portion of my life now. A few years ago, I was stopped for a large quantity of methamphetamine. And instead of running, I had this feeling that I needed to just surrender. So instead of getting arrested, I think I was rescued. I was taken to Calgary remand, where I've spent a large number of years in. And it used to be called my second home. I was taken there, and my lawyer at the time, she came to me one day, and because she's been my lawyer for a while, and the reason why she came to me is during my years living on the streets of Calgary here, I've been homeless for quite some time because of the things that I was doing, and I've lost my family and, everything. The most important being my children. I think when I moved to Calgary, what set me off was my first son being taken away permanently from me and his mother, and drug-related charges, and they wanted me to speak, and I couldn't because I was still going to trial, and they took my son anyways, and I haven't seen him since he was 2 years old, still to this day. He's 16 now. But sitting in remand, my lawyer asked me, she goes, "Have you heard of Calgary Drug Court?" Now, mind you, me and authority, you're on that side of the fence, I'm on this side, I don't like you. And she's asking me to let in people that I felt were ruining my life because I didn't see I had a problem. Everybody else was the problem. Authority was my problem. Authority I didn't trust. They weren't there to protect me, they were there to harm me. And I really wasn't interested. I was almost ready just to go to prison and do my time. But my lawyer said, there's something about you that if you give this a chance, you might be okay, Paul. And really, I broke down. I was crying because I had a hard time fighting this. I was like, do I want to change? Do I really want to change? And half hour goes by, and finally I was like, you know what? Okay, we'll give it a shot. And so she put me in for Calgary Drug Treatment Court. And while I did that, I was like, well, why don't I go one step farther? If I'm gonna knock this jailhouse stuff out of my life, maybe I better try what else is offered in Calgary remand. So I went into the TKO program, And I found that I didn't have to hold that jail mentality. I didn't have to be a tough guy. I didn't have to intimidate people or be intimidated. I didn't have to carry myself that way anymore. And that was the beginning of a change for me. I was accepted into the Calgary Drug Treatment Court after some months of waiting and frustration and anger, which was hard for me because I'm used to just getting what I want now or losing my temper and wrecking things. But I didn't. And I got in and I got to meet Peter. And me and Peter, from the get-go, I treated him as authority. And I gave him attitude. And I don't know what it was. It wasn't I think it was because you decided with me, you didn't say, okay, you're going back. It was like, think about what you're doing. Is this what you want? You gave me a choice. And that was new to me. Authority giving me a choice. It wasn't, this is what's happening to you. And so I let my guard down. And it was the best thing I think I've ever done in my life. The person I am today is a far cry from who I used to be. I care about people. I like to see people going in a positive direction, and if I can help them, I will. I get involved with charity work. I go to church regularly. I come here regularly. I'm a graduate of the Calgary Drug Treatment Court. They helped me. Because I spent so much time of my life being told when to move, where to go, how to go there, what time to go there, that it was a little bit of that, but a lot of hold yourself up because you're a man and you can do it. And I did, because I was given that opportunity to do it myself. And it gave me the change. And while I've been in that program, I asked for a therapist because I have disabilities, physical disabilities due to the life that I lived on the street, mental disabilities from all the drug usage, many problems. But I'm seeing somebody out of my own choice that they decided to help me do. And I'm getting a lot out of it. And today, I have 100% everyone in my family reunited with me, which never happened before. Before, I used to tell you, hey, I'll do this for you, only because I wanted something. Today, I do what I say I do because I have integrity. And I believe that my word, if I stand for my word, then that's all that matters. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'll do it. And it makes me have a self-respect that I never got out there selling drugs. I wasn't, I could say I was somebody. I wasn't nobody. But I feel like I'm a somebody now. And my family believes I'm a somebody now. First time in my life, I'm almost 2 years sober. Thank you. There's more faces in the crowd that I would take time to stop and talk with now, as in before. It's like, do you have any money? Oh, no, okay, see you later. That was a shit life, man. It really was crap. I'm just really happy in the direction I'm going. I've got goals. Right now I'm attempting to, if I can get the funding for it, I'm going to go to school and be a community support worker for addictions. So those are the things that I'm getting because of recovery. I've got health. I've got my health. I'm able to be there for people when it really matters. And, I was there for a family that needed support. Me and a few other brothers and sisters in here were there as well. And it made me feel humble but it made me feel alive. And it made me feel that I'm making the right choices today. And I'm going to continue to do it. And that's all I have to say. Thanks.